The Texas Higher Education Coordinating Board is in the process of developing the state's next long-term strategic plan for higher education. The success of achieving the goals of this plan is going to rest heavily on collaboration among higher education, public education, and the workforce. We need to work together much more closely than ever before. The current strategic plan for Texas higher education, Closing the Gaps by 2015, is coming to an end this year. It has been a very successful plan for the past 15 years. Accomplishments during Closing the Gaps up to 2014 include the following. First, over 2.6 million students completed a certificate, associate, or bachelor's. Second, Texas public institutions invested $42.8 billion in research and development, supported by federal, state, local, institutional, and private sources. Third, state legislators allocated $3.3 billion in Texas grants to support low-income students in higher education. Fourth, close to 170,000 students graduated with nursing degrees, and nearly 126,000 students graduated with engineering degrees. These are all graduates contributing to high-demand fields that might not have without the initiatives that came out of Closing the Gaps. Now we are looking forward to the next 15 years as we design a plan that establishes a globally competitive workforce in Texas by 2030. In March 2014, the Coordinating Board created the Higher Education Strategic Planning Committee, which is comprised of education and business leaders from across Texas. This committee is collaborating with Coordinating Board staff on the development of the next higher education plan for the state. Since then, the committee has received expert testimony from individuals from across the state, the U.S., and from around the world. The final plan will be presented to the Coordinating Board on July 23rd for adoption. The new draft plan, 60x30TX, is firmly founded on the critical need that Texas produces an educated workforce that is able to adapt to change and compete at the highest levels, nationally and internationally. The world's most competitive workforces have younger populations with more education compared to the U.S. and compared to Texas. 60x30TX emphasizes all forms of post-high school education, from certificates to associate and bachelor's degrees to graduate and professional education. The plan also highlights the overarching goal that 60% of Generation Texas will have a post-secondary credential or degree by 2030. 60x30TX will build on the success of Closing the Gaps. We don't expect work that began with Closing the Gaps to end. We expect those accomplishments will continue, and that 60x30TX is the beginning of a new series of accomplishments. We anticipate this pattern of building on successes will be true well into the future. The Strategic Planning Committee has developed 4 student-centered goals. The first deals with educational attainment, which is a fraction of the Texas population actually holding a degree or certificate. The second goal deals with degree and certificate completion at Texas colleges and universities. The third goal highlights the need for students to know they have marketable skills. The fourth goal recognizes the need to address student debt. The first and overarching goal is, by 2030, at least 60% of Texans ages 25 to 34 will have a post-secondary credential or degree. This is a big percentage to shoot for because right now only about 38% of Texans in this age group have any kind of post-high school degree or certificate. The best educated societies in the world have already reached 60%, or close to it, in this age group. This includes our northern neighbor and international competitor, Canada. We need to move the level of attainment up dramatically among young Texans. The new plan calls for realistic interim targets and strategies that will get us to our final goal if we stay on course through 2030. Critical to achievement is a focus on, and success in, improving the education level of young Hispanic Texans, who will make up a majority of the students in school between now and 2030. Why is the 60 by 30 goal important? There has been a huge increase in the percentage of jobs that require some form of post-secondary education or training. In 1973, only 28% of all jobs required education beyond a high school diploma. According to the Center on Education and the Workforce at Georgetown University, 65% of all jobs will require post-secondary education by 2018, including 59% of all jobs in Texas. The simple truth is that the 21st century workforce will require more education and more skills, not less, and the competition globally will be tough. These projections are a key reason why the Coordinating Board is pursuing funding for strategies and other higher education initiatives designed to better align higher education with the workforce and boost the production of post-secondary educated workers. The next goal reads, by 2030, at least 550,000 students in that year will complete a certificate, associate, bachelor's, or master's from a Texas public, independent, or for-profit college or university. Data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics make clear that students don't get much of an economic lift from college attendance unless they complete a degree or certificate. We can do better at this than what we're doing now. Under Closing the Gaps, Texas has been able to generate impressive growth in degree and certificate production. We need to continue that record. The plan includes targets for Hispanic Texans earning 285,000 certificates or degrees in 2030. The plan includes other specific targets, and we encourage everyone to read through these carefully. Another important target is to increase the percentage of students who enroll in higher education directly after high school, from the current 53% to 65%. The third goal reads, by 2030, all graduates from Texas public institutions of higher education will have completed programs with identified marketable skills. The goal calls for every institution in Texas to articulate how it prepares its students to succeed after completion. All programs develop skills of value in the marketplace. The plan requires institutions to formally identify those skills for each of its programs so that students are aware of and can communicate these skills to future employers. The fourth goal is, by 2030, undergraduate student loan debt will not exceed 60% of first-year wage for graduates of Texas public institutions. We have an opportunity to balance student loan debt and improve how higher education is financed to reduce financial barriers that students and families encounter when pursuing any level of higher education. We think the best way to focus on financial issues is to set the goal of maintaining debt load, as measured against student earning power at graduation. Success will require collaboration among elected officials and higher education leaders, and will probably require imaginative reinvention of paths for students and methods for teaching and learning. Our 60 by 30 text plan must be bold. If we aren't bold, we will lose ground in having an educated population. If we lose ground, we will lose our competitive edge in the global marketplace. This will affect institutions and their students. Great universities are built by great economies. If we aren't bold, projected personal income will not keep pace with inflation or with the cost of living. The 60 by 30 text plan is bold. It rests on careful assessments of the possible. We have set challenging goals and targets to meet the genuine needs of Texas and Texans by 2030. We need everyone to review the plan and provide comment before it is sent to the coordinating board for approval. We have an online tool for stakeholders called College Town Hall Texas that enables you to participate in the discussion. This interactive website is hosted by the coordinating board and provides an opportunity to share ideas, respond to new initiatives, and join the dialogue on the future of higher education in the state. Stakeholders, including you, legislators, business leaders, faculty, administrators, students, parents, and educators, can help shape future policy as Texas works to become a national and international leader in higher education. Our question and answer session will begin shortly. Thank you.